Hey there, welcome back. Today, we're going to do a deep dive into the world of CMOs,
CEO.
Chief Marketing Officers.
Right.
You shared a YouTube video about how to nail a CMO interview. And I have to say, it's more than just interview prep.
Yeah.
This thing is packed with insights about the changing face of marketing itself.
Yeah, it's like a cheat sheet for understanding what it really takes to lead marketing efforts in today's landscape.
Right.
What struck me was how the video emphasizes that the CMO role isn't just about marketing anymore. It's about driving the entire business forward.
Right. Like, it's one thing to create a catchy campaign,
Right.
but can you tie it back to tangible business growth?
Yeah.
The video even starts with that classic "tell me about yourself" question, which I thought was interesting. You'd think at the CMO level it wouldn't be so crucial.
You'd be surprised. But the sample answer they provide really zeroes in on showcasing results.
Okay.
It's not, I managed a team of X people.
Right.
It's more like, I spearheaded a campaign that increased sales by 20%, quantifiable achievements, boom.
That's a great point.
Yeah.
Even if you're not a CMO, highlighting those concrete wins in any interview is key.
Absolutely.
It's less about what you did and more about the impact you made.
Right.
Speaking of impact, the video strategy for answering why this company is pretty clever.
I thought so too. Instead of just praising the company, they suggest linking your aspirations to the company's specific needs and opportunities.
Right.
It's like saying, hey, I've done my research and I see how my skills can directly contribute to your success.
Yeah, instead of just wanting any CMO job,
Yeah.
you're showing them you want this job for them
Right.
because you get it.
Exactly.
Did you ever use a similar approach in your career?
Absolutely. Early on, I had an interview where I went beyond the usual company research.
Okay.
I dug into their recent marketing campaigns and actually found a missed opportunity, something they could have done better.
Wow.
In my interview, I brought it up respectfully, of course, and suggested how I would have approached it differently.
Whoa, that's bold.
Yeah.
What happened?
They loved it. They said it showed initiative and a deeper understanding of their brand.
Wow.
It landed me the job.
See, that's the kind of real-world example that makes this stuff click.
Right.
It's not just theory, it's about applying these insights strategically.
Absolutely.
Now, the video also gets into essential CMO skills. And it wasn't what I expected.
Oh, tell me about it. I was ready for the usual suspects. Creativity, communication, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
But they went deeper, emphasizing things like strategic vision and data analysis,
Right.
which honestly makes a lot of sense.
I mean, I get it. Gut feelings only take you so far.
Right.
To steer a whole company's marketing, you need to back up your decisions with data.
Exactly. And this is where that data-driven marketing buzzword becomes really important.
Yeah.
It's not just about collecting data, it's about using it to understand customer behavior, predict trends, and measure the actual impact of your campaigns.
So it's less about being a creative genius and more about being a data-savvy strategist who can use those insights to make smart decisions.
Precisely, a CMO might need to decide between investing in a splashy Super Bowl ad or a targeted social media campaign.
Right.
Data can help them determine which will actually yield a better return on investment.
Right.
And sometimes the data might lead to unexpected conclusions that challenge traditional marketing wisdom.
Okay, so data analysis is crucial.
Yeah.
But the video also talks about understanding the customer journey.
Yeah,
What did you make of that? Is it really that different for a CMO versus someone more junior?
it is, and here's why. A CMO isn't just focused on one touch point or campaign.
Right.
They need to see the big picture.
Okay.
How does a customer first become aware of the brand?
Right.
What are their interactions like online and offline? What motivates them to make a purchase? And how do we keep them coming back for more?
So it's less about individual marketing tactics and more about orchestrating a seamless experience across all channels.
Yeah.
Making sure that every interaction from social media to in-store is aligned.
You get it. It's about building that holistic brand experience that turns customers into loyal advocates.
That's fascinating. It makes me think about some of the brands I'm loyal to.
Uh-huh.
There's usually a consistent feeling I get from them, whether I'm on their website or talk to a customer service rep.
Yeah.
It's like, they get me.
And that getting you is the result of a CMO who truly understands the customer journey.
Right.
They've mapped out those touch points and crafted a strategy that resonates at every stage.
So we've got data analysis and understanding the customer journey.
Yeah.
But the video also mentions something I hadn't really considered as a key CMO skill,
Okay.
a deep understanding of the specific industry.
Yes.
Why is that so important at the executive level?
It's about context. A CMO who deeply understands their industry can anticipate trends, spot opportunities, and even predict potential threats.
Right.
They can tailor their marketing strategies to the unique nuances of that market.
So it's not just about being a marketing whiz. It's about being a bit of an industry expert, too.
Exactly. Think about it. Marketing for a tech startup is a whole different ballgame than marketing for, say, a luxury fashion brand.
Yep.
The target audience, the channels, the messaging, everything changes based on the industry.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
But let's be honest, even with all the data and industry knowledge,
Yeah.
marketing is still a bit of a gamble, right?
Yeah.
I mean, the video even talks about the ever-changing media landscape being a major challenge for CMOs.
Sure.
How do you even keep up with all the new platforms and trends popping up all the time?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? And it's something that keeps every CMO up at night.
Right.
You're right. The landscape shifts constantly.
Yeah.
What worked last year might flop this year.
Right.
So agility is key.
Okay, so how does a CMO actually stay agile? I feel like I'm always playing catch-up with the latest social media app or marketing tool.
Right.
It's exhausting.
I hear you. It's a constant learning curve.
Yeah.
But here's the thing. It's not just about chasing every shiny new object.
Right.
It's about having a solid foundation of marketing principles
Okay.
and then being able to apply those principles to new contexts.
So it's like having a strong core. You can adapt and move in any direction.
Exactly. A CMO who's obsessed with the newest platform might miss the bigger picture.
Right.
But a CMO who understands the underlying principles of customer behavior, effective messaging, and data analysis can navigate any new trend or technology that comes along.
That's a really good point. It's
Yeah.
about seeing the forest for the trees, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
But speaking of trees, let's get back to some of the specifics from the video.
Okay.
They had this whole section on marketing a new product.
Mm-hmm.
And I found it really interesting how they broke it down step by step.
It's a classic framework,
Right.
but it's a classic for a reason. It works.
Right.
And the video did a good job of highlighting some key points that are often overlooked.
Like what stood out to you?
Well, they really emphasize the importance of nailing the target demographics early on. It seems obvious, but you'd be surprised how many companies launch products without a clear understanding of who they're trying to reach.
And they had that great line about telling a story alongside the product, which I thought was really smart. It's not just about features and benefits.
Right.
It's about creating an emotional connection.
Absolutely. Storytelling is everything in marketing. People don't just buy products, they buy into the stories those products represent.
Right.
Think about some of the most successful brands out there. They all have a compelling story to tell.
Okay, so you've got your story, your audience, what's next? The video talks a lot about online marketing, which I guess is a no-brainer these days.
Yeah.
But what are your thoughts on that? Is it really all about social media ads and influencer campaigns now?
Well, online marketing is definitely crucial, but it's not a one-size-fits-all solution.
Right.
The key is to choose the right channels for your target audience and your product.
So if you're selling high-end luxury watches, maybe TikTok isn't the best place to be.
Probably not. But a beautifully crafted Instagram campaign featuring aspirational imagery and influencer partnerships could be incredibly effective.
Yeah, that makes sense. It's about meeting your audience where they are not just blasting your message everywhere.
Exactly. And that's another area where data comes into play.
Yeah.
You can use data to analyze which online channels are most effective for reaching your target audience.
Okay.
And then you can allocate your budget accordingly.
So it's not just about being creative. It's about being strategic with your online presence.
Yeah.
I'm realizing that a lot of these CMO skills are valuable even if you're not in a leadership role.
Absolutely.
Like understanding your audience,
Right.
crafting a compelling story,
Yeah.
using data
Yeah.
to make decisions that's useful for anyone in marketing or really any business.
I couldn't agree more. These are foundational principles that can help anyone level up their game.
Now, the video didn't really touch on this, but
Yeah.
I'm curious from your experience, what are some of the biggest challenges that CMOs face that aren't always talked about?
Okay.
The stuff that goes beyond just keeping up with the latest trends.
That's a great question. I think one of the biggest unspoken challenges is managing internal stakeholders and expectations.
Okay.
A CMO might have a brilliant vision, but if they can't get buy-in from the CEO, the sales team, and other key players,
Right.
it's going to be an uphill battle.
The dreaded office politics. So it's not just about being a marketing guru, it's about being a skilled communicator and negotiator as well.
Absolutely. A CMO needs to be able to articulate their vision, clearly build consensus, and manage expectations.
Okay.
And that can be really tricky, especially in large organizations where there are competing priorities and agendas.
It makes me think of that saying, It's lonely at the top.
Yeah.
You might have the fancy title, but you still need to get everyone on board with your ideas.
Exactly, and that requires strong leadership skills, the ability to inspire and motivate people, and the resilience to push through resistance when necessary.
Okay, so we've got the external challenges of a rapidly changing market
Right.
and the internal challenges of navigating corporate politics.
Yeah.
But what about the personal side of things? What kind of mindset do you think a successful CMO needs to have?
I think they need to be incredibly adaptable, comfortable with ambiguity, and have a high tolerance for risk.
So not afraid to fail.
Not at all. In fact, they embrace failure as a learning opportunity. They're constantly experimenting, testing new ideas, and pushing boundaries. And they know that not everything they try will be a home run.
That's a really refreshing perspective.
Yeah.
So many people, myself included, are so afraid of making mistakes. But it sounds like a good CMO sees those mistakes as valuable data points.
Exactly. They're constantly iterating, refining their strategies based on what they learn,
Right.
and they're not afraid to pivot if something isn't working.
That takes a lot of courage, I think, to admit you were wrong and change course.
It does, but it's also what sets the great CMOs apart from the rest.
Yeah.
They're not afraid to admit when they're wrong, and they're always looking for ways to improve.
You know, this deep dive has been so much more than just a breakdown of a YouTube video.
Right.
We've really gotten into the nitty-gritty of what it takes to be a CMO in today's world.
It's been fascinating, hasn't it? And I think there are some really valuable takeaways for anyone, regardless of their career aspirations.
Totally. This whole conversation has made me rethink how I approach my own work. I'm feeling inspired to be bolder, to experiment more, and to not be afraid to fail.
Yeah, me too. And I think what's really resonated with me is that a lot of these CMO qualities are, at their core, just good human qualities.
Yeah,
Being adaptable, curious, willing to learn.
right,
Those are things we can all strive for.
right. And that brings me back to something we touched on earlier, the importance of a supportive senior management team.
Yeah.
The video mentions it briefly, but I think it's worth emphasizing. Even the most brilliant CMO can't succeed in a vacuum.
Yeah.
They need the backing of the CEO and other key executives to truly make an impact.
Exactly. A CMO needs to be able to not only develop a winning strategy, but also sell that strategy internally and secure the resources necessary to bring it to life. That requires strong communication skills, political savvy, and the ability to build relationships and influence decisions.
Yeah, it's like having a coach who believes in you and gives you the resources you need to win. I can imagine it would be incredibly frustrating to have a groundbreaking marketing strategy but not be able to execute it because you don't have the budget or the support from higher ups.
Exactly.
So it's not just about being a marketing expert. It's about being a leader who can navigate the complexities of the corporate world. It makes you wonder, what would you prioritize if you were a CMO today?
Oh, wow.
What would be your top focus to ensure your company stays ahead in this crazy, ever-changing market?
That's a tough one. There are so many variables to consider, but if I had to pick one thing, I'd say it would be fostering a culture of innovation and experimentation within the marketing team.
Interesting. Tell me more about that.
I think it's crucial for CMOs to create an environment where people aren't afraid to take risks, to try new things, and to even fail sometimes.
Right.
Because that's how you learn, that's how you discover what works and what doesn't.
Yeah, it's about embracing that fail fast, learn faster mentality, right?
Right.
But how do you actually build that into a team's culture? It seems like a lot of companies, especially big ones, are so risk averse.
It's definitely a challenge, but it's possible. I think it starts with leading by example. The CMO needs to be willing to take risks themselves, to try new things, and to be transparent about their successes and failures.
So it's about walking the walk, not just talking the talk,
Yeah.
and creating a safe space for the team to experiment and learn
Right.
without fear of judgment or repercussions.
Exactly. It's also about celebrating those small wins along the way, even if they don't lead to a massive breakthrough.
Right.
Recognizing and rewarding effort and creativity, even in failure, can go a long way in fostering that culture of innovation.
That's a really powerful point. It's not just about results, it's about the process and the learning that happens along the way. This whole deep dive has been such an eye-opener. We've gone way beyond just interview tips and really explored the multifaceted role of a CMO in today's business landscape.
It's been a fantastic conversation, and I think it's a reminder that marketing is constantly evolving, and those who are willing to adapt, experiment, and embrace new ideas will be the ones who thrive.
Well said. And to our listeners, thank you for joining us on this deep dive into the world of the CMO. We hope you've gained some valuable insights and maybe even some inspiration to apply to your own work.
Remember, whether you're aiming for the C-suite or just looking to level up in your current role, The key is to never stop learning, never stop experimenting, and never be afraid to challenge the status quo.
That's right. And who knows, maybe one day you'll be the one leading the marketing charge for a Prime 500 company. Until then, keep learning, keep growing, and keep diving deep.